Today I want to talk to you about something which is really dear to my heart, which is space exploration. Yes, you've heard that right. I am indeed a lawyer. Yes, I confirm. I'm a avocat à la cour with a Paris bar, and I'm also a solicitor of England and Wales in England. And so I should be, really pragmatic or businesslike, which I am. But we at our law firm Crefovi, we advise the creative industries. And I find it so terribly creative to actually go and do some space travel, some space exploration. And as I'm sure you know, NASA, I think it's called NASA, has successfully sent some rockets, some basically spaceship to Mars, and it has landed successfully on Mars. And my understanding is that they are putting lots of robots and moving robots around on the ground in Mars and taking really, really beautiful, eerie, and amazing pictures of the surface of the planet Mars, as well as what you can see from this Mars surface of the cloud. So you can see Jupiter, Saturn, and like Uranus, I think, in the background from the Mars ground. I mean, it's just amazing. And I wanted to talk about that today because we all have to face it, which is that in between 100 to 200, 300 years, perhaps much more. But in the distance, what is looming for our planet Earth is that it will disappear for various reasons. Stephen Hawking has spoken about that quite extensively before he died a few years ago. And I think the reasons mentioned were, well, we could be knocked out by a meteorite, for one. Secondly, the temperature on Earth is going to become too high to sustain for us to human beings and other basically species to survive on planet Earth. It's just going to become too warm. There may be some aliens coming to Earth and having some intentions to invade us and to use us. So that could be also a reason why we can't really stay on planet Earth. Although I'm not saying that all alien life, is hostile, but you never know what could happen, and could arrive could land on planet Earth. And there are some other reasons for which Stephen Hawking, who was one of the most respected and still is one of the most respected, basically space scientists out there. And his predictions were that in a certain amount of years, be it 300 years or up to 1 million years, but I don't think it will be that far away, the human species won't be, and other living species won't be able to stay on planet Earth. It won't be sustainable anymore. And also at the end of the day, what we have to think about is that humans are reproducing, they are having children, and quite a lot of them. And because today there are less, we have longer lifespans, and also we have children, and they also produce children, etc. So that means that at some point we won't be able to all stay on planet Earth because it won't be sustainable anymore. I think we have to face that reality as well, which is that ourselves, humans, which consume too much of the resources of planet Earth. So this, step in the right direction from the United States by sending this NASA spaceship to look at Mars, which I understand is one of the ecosystems the sun. What's it called again? The sun. Sorry, I'm losing the word. But basically, Earth is part of the sun solar system. in this solar system, there's Mars, which is one of the planets, in that solar system. And why did NASA decide to go on Mars? Because potentially Mars is the planet which might become inhabitable for human beings in the future. So, the States and NASA is already thinking ahead, like, how can we, use this space travel, this space exploration experience to actually ensure that we have a backup plan, for the future. Because as I told you, a lot of scientists specialize in that field think that planet Earth will not, at some point will either become extinct or something will happen that means that the human race has to move on and other living species have to move on to another space. So I think it is fantastic news, really, that NASA and the US have launched that mission, and I really would like, in particular, Europe to also get going, the European Commission, Union, etc., to get going and to really, unite towards this objective, because in the in the medium to long term, the human race really will have to actually find a solution. Okay, and as I said, we focus on advising the creative industries at our law firm Crefovi between Paris and London, and so I think this is such a wonderful realm of creativity here, having to basically potentially reinvent life for human beings and other human species, living species, on another planet. Everything will have to be rethought, reprocessed, and it's just opens so many possibilities, right? In terms of also probably there will be some primary new or different primary resource which will be exploitable on this other planet. So and that could be very useful for planet Earth. So how are you going to also create these logistics, in order to be able to travel back and forth between planet Earth and this other planet? So it's all very exciting because it really, I'm really glad that the human race is now coming to this, Aquarius age and thinking creatively as to expand its knowledge, its activities beyond just planet Earth. I think it was really about time. We as a species have been on this planet Earth for millions of years now, I think around 12 millions of years. Of course, not always like as a Homo sapiens, but there were other sort of subspecies of human beings before the Homo sapiens, since I think 12 million years. So it's about time, I think, that we really get on with it and stop being so egocentric. I am French, I am British, and therefore Brexit. Yeah, fuck off, imbecile. And that's not the way of thinking anymore. Okay. Right now, we are the human race, okay, and there's so much to explore in our solar system. So as the human race, it's not about nationalism anymore, right? It's about trying to sort out the shit, because, excuse my French, we still have quite a lot of shit to sort out on planet Earth. Sort the shit out. Now is the time to sort the shit out, create a level playing field so that most human beings, if not all human beings, can have a satisfactory life on planet Earth and develop their creative skills and also the purpose for which you're put on this planet Earth for, okay? Because we all have a purpose, and it needs to be a good, productive, useful, sustainable purpose for the rest of living beings on planet Earth. We don't want, we're not interested in serial killers and all that jazz. We want, a purpose for each human being to be creative, productive, useful, improving, this. But we want to create that level playing field, because we want human beings to be able to basically develop their single potential because they have all their basic needs sorted, like food, like shelter, like being able to sleep, like so when this, through the pyramid of needs, when those basic needs are covered, then you can actually achieve a higher goal, your higher purpose. And so that is why we need to create that level playing field on planet Earth for everyone. Okay, and then once the shit has been sorted, so that we get that and we stop also destroying the resources of the planet, we also at the same time focus our energies on how are we going to position ourselves in the solar system and also beyond the solar system in other basically the words it's difficult for me to even find the words, but in other planet systems, how are we going to position ourselves to actually have a backup plan? Because Earth is not going to be there forever. Of course, not in your lifetime, in our lifetime, or in our kids or grandchildren's lifetime, but eventually Earth will die or will, be blown up or whatever. So get too expensive or become a dead planet. So I'm really glad that the US always, the one moving at the forefront of everyone, has taken this sort of forward-thinking approach and launched that mission on Mars. This is great news, and I really do hope that they find plenty of interesting information and data for scientists in there, etc., and also figure out a plan how they can start basically creating some missions where human beings are actually starting to live on Mars. That would be so wonderful if it is, of course, doable. Of course, it shouldn't be a suicide mission. It should be a mission where actually the risk of dying is very limited. So it's great news, and I think there's plenty of potential to be super creative, in this search for what's out there. Okay, we know every corner of planet Earth now, thanks to Google View, Google Maps, or whatever, So, but not only that, but also because international travel before COVID was so widespread. So now we need to move beyond this, because we've been there, we've done it already. Okay, so let's challenge ourselves towards a higher goal and be creative, always. To basically develop that space exploration, because firstly, it's interesting. So let's fulfill our curiosity, for one. And secondly, we will need it in the future. All this data, all this experience about space traveling, space discovery, and also finding some other planets, and also starting communicating potentially with, other species, if and probably there are some. I mean, there are just so many systems out there. I would very much doubt that there aren't any other living species on other planets in other solar systems. So that's it for now. That's it from me for now. And I'll be back in touch soon. Bye.